How's it going, ladies and Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to the Chronicles of Tal'Dun. I don't really have anything to add before we kick off because I don't really know what's going on apart from the fact that we've got a giant black hole of abyss in our room, a guy who treats us like shit, and who may or may not be more than that. It was also our cook apparently, and a cat that may turn into a demon. Let's carry on. A window latch breaks and rain comes splattering upon me. Warm rain. Sticky warm rain. Oh no. I sit up drenched, knots in my stomach. This will be a mess to clean up. Sorry. How long was I asleep? Wiping my face with blood-covered hands, I surveyed the room. Blood everywhere. Sweet, dark, rippling. A right mess. Eli forgot to close the windows again. Again! This is the concern. It's raining blood. Oh, he forgot to close the windows and now it's going to be really hard to clean the carpet. Ilar, I shout. Distant rumbling drowns it out. Where are they? I'm not cleaning this up by myself. Ilar! I march through the halls, up the winding stairs, throwing open doors to dark, empty rooms. Nothing. Where are they? Ilar? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? A trail behind me. I raise hands to my face, metallic, greasy. Whose blood is this? That's a good question. Am I hurt? Can't find any wounds on me. No pain, nothing. I pinch a bit of skin from my forearm. No pain, nothing. I feel nothing. No. Ilar, where are you? Ilar? Bolting down the hall, I shout, Ilar! I wake up to my own shouting. Hoarseness burns in my throat. A dream? Sparks swim in my eyes and the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Someone is watching me. Light jitters, shadows dance. Could I be imagining it? No, I don't know how I know, but I do. Should I look? What kind of question is that? On the count of 3 then? No, now. Carefully I turn my head and look into the gloom. Has it always been this dark in the library? Streams of debris undulate lazily through the air, occasionally shuddering in sync with abyss devourers droning. A pocket of deeper darkness draws my attention. A pair of golden jewels glint at me. I squint. The jewels are blinking, and now they're growing brighter. I deepen my breath to stay calm. It's too soon to panic. I don't even know what that thing is. A jagged, hunched silhouette detaches from the murk. We've seen this thing before. Its movement sluggish and unsteady. I remember the same silhouette slithering out from a darkened doorway and clawing at me. Alright, now you can panic. Sliding my feet down on the floor, I began backing away, keeping my eyes on the Lucasi as it steadily creeps toward me. Come closer and I'll give you something else to scowl about. Ow! My heel kicks something hard. Reaching back, my hands find a massive bookshelf on one side, an unyielding stone on the other. A corner. I grope for something to defend myself with, but get hold of nothing but books, soft covers at that. Terrific. I guess it'll be an exchange of words then. That's what we're best at. As the Lucasi moves into the candle's glow, more of its features come to light. It's much smaller than I imagined, and not nearly as grotesque. Its black fur is rather lush and endowed with a silken sheen. The creature lets out an exaggerated yawn and shudders, revealing a set of vicious teeth. I can smell its breath. It outstretches its arms overhead until its entire body is outlandishly arched. A pair of large earrings glint dully. It wears jewelry? I'm scoping out an escape route when Abyss Devourer lets off a rumble and the creature throws both paws over its ears and lets out a pained meow. I blink, and a funny sensation crawls over my scalp as I squint at the creature. Thick black fur around the legs, pointy ears, golden eyes. Everything fits. Could it be? Seeing the look on my face, Fuzz. No, I won't use that name until I can be sure. The creature locks eyes with me and gestures with its head at the arched doorway. A sensation tingles in my spine at the possibility of it. Go with it? Lure, should I? My feet almost step forward on their own, but Ilar's warnings resound in my head and I pull back. Who are you, I ask. The creature gestures at me to follow again, tail swishing impatiently, then turns to go. Pressure squeezes my heart. It's leaving. A piece of my past or an irresistible lure. What shall I do? Follow Fuzzpants. Screw what Ilar said. The creature's silhouette is melding into the dark again. Go, you fool. Do not tell me what to do, I mutter, and hurry after Fuzzpants. She gets to the desk and hops onto it, planting her paw squarely on the open journal, then turns her back to me, reaches her paws back and growls, "Halt." What? I look at the sheer height of the shelf. You cannot be serious. I'm careful with that book. I push her on the shoulder, but she won't budge. She sighs and waves paws impatiently. Hold on. I give her a flat stare, but she pretends not to notice. I sigh. Ah, fine. It's not like riding a humanoid cat is the weirdest thing I've done today. I lean on her back and lock my arms tightly together, one of my feet still on the table. Hold, she snarls and crouches. Yes, I know, I'm whole. I yelp as she takes off. A dizzying rush later, we're on top of the shelf. A flash of cold sweat coats my back. Lure on a cow. Wait, I need a We hurtle through the air again. I grab her on for dear life as she leaps from one beam to the next, her claws biting into the wood. I don't dare look, but just feel the thump as we land and the terrifying sway as we dangle. Then a blast of cold air hits me as we begin to plunge through the darkness, a brief eternity later. Oof. Breath is knocked out of me. I slam from every direction as the world spins and spins and spins. I don't know how long I'll lie. I lie still, but the spinning finally stops. Yay, an achievement. A grunt and a cough. Full of grass later, I open my eyes. Is this the garden? I sit up, feeling like one side of my head is twice as big as it should be, and take in my surroundings. A field of damp grass surrounded by low stone walls. Flowering bushes squat along the wall's interior, hugged by the row of pines from the outside. A giant of a tree stands watch in the center of the field, its trunk so thick 3 people linking their outstretched arms couldn't circle it fully. Fuzzpants is already plodding off toward it. She circles around the tree, a paw leaning on it for support. At its base is a tangle of writhing, twisting roots, each thicker than me. Fuzzpants drags herself into an opening in the roots, leading to a shallow cave. I hesitate for breath. In for a drop, in for the bottle, I tell myself, then duck inside. My eyes light up at the sight of a body-height mirror with a worked metal frame. Fuzzpants seems to have given up mid-crawl and is lying on top of a bundle of blankets, giving off a chirpy snore. Hey, wake up! I nudge her with a foot. She rolls over and keeps sleeping. My irritation accordingly mounts. Hey, wake up! Start talking to me. Why'd you bring me here? Fuzzpants struggles to sit up. Looking agitated, she jabs a finger at me. Then with her other paw, rubs the top of her head and croaks something. I frown. She could at least manage 1 or 2 words back inside. Now she's regressed to guttural sounds only. She repeats the motion with her paws and tries to speak again, manages a what, and then breaks into wheezes. Brows bunched, I throw my hands up. You're not making any sense. Can you write? Fuzzpants rubs her crown with more intensity, but all I can do is shake my head. Finally, she gives up and hisses at me with fangs bared. I take a step back and raise my hands. Alright, fine, no writing then. Forget I asked. Yes, the cat writing. Brilliant idea. Shush. Fuzzpants fluffs up a tiny bit, apparently startled by my shush. Not you. You talk. She crumbles and falls asleep again. Unbelievable. I rub my forehead. What do I do with her? Then I notice her lips move. She talks in her sleep. I lean in and listen. Of fur, what of fur? Her scratchy voice trails off with a gurgle. Then she's snoozing, long pink tongue hanging out. Water? Waters? Well, what else? If she's Ilar's familiar, then magic is definitely involved. And if she is a Lucasi pretending to be Fuzzpants, she can't be. Or would I have risked my neck to follow her here for nothing? You do realize that wanting something to be true is no proof that it is. You have a point there. Hey, wait. When'd you start being helpful? I'm always helpful, but you never listen. Then help me with this. She could be a powerful ally, should there be any danger. And who knows, she might tell me more about myself than Ilar. You used up what little waters you have trying to help her? What good would she be to you if you'd become a sunken? I grunt through my nose. I hate it when I make arguments I can't challenge like that. What to do? Oh, let's do it, come on. throw caution to the wind. She's hardly the picture of a vicious and cunning monster of the depths that I'd imagined. Besides, what kind of Lucasi would lure me here to only fall asleep? I puff up my cheeks and let out a deep sigh. That's it. I'm going to treat her as Ilar's familiar. No point having one foot in two boats. A sense of relief floods into my chest, like a breath of cool air. I kneel down next to Fuzzpants. I hope you know what I'm gambling here. Your life, probably. My hands are raised awkwardly over Fuzzpants as she snores. I must have done this before. It'll come to me. It must come to me. I wriggle my fingers, lips pinched in concentration. Nothing happens. I take a deep breath and experimentally brush the tip of her ear. She twitches and her paws start moving rather purposefully. Is she dreaming? I wonder as I give a slightly firmer stroke along her ear, watching her closely. There's that motion again. I feel a buzz in my head. She's making circles, like she did earlier on her head. Could that be the way? I close my eyes and rub the crown of her head in circles, doing my best to recreate her motion from earlier. In a few breaths' time, a soothing warmth builds up in my hand, making me realize how cold I was until now. As I welcome the warmth, it swells and covers me like a blanket. I could almost imagine I'm sitting by a bonfire. Divana, I wish I could lie down and have a nap. You know what? I shall do just that once all this is over. Build a fire next to the tree and nap, basking in its warmth. I realize I'm grinning from ear to ear at the idea. Fuzzpants is too. The fear in her head vibrates with energy. She yawns and stretches out her limbs, then rubs her eyes and sits up. Her movements are still lethargic, but there's a spark in her eyes that wasn't there before. I take my hand away and look at her, expectant. She sees me, wrinkles her nose and promptly pads out of the cave. Alright, you're welcome, I mutter, stroking the cut on my wrist. Thinking I made a deal. This is definitely a deal. Ilar will chew my ears off. When I come out of the tree, Fuzzpants is sitting atop a high branch and busy lathering herself with her tongue. You seem to be in better shape. I put my hands on my hips. She scratches her ear with her foot. Well, now that I've given you waters, will you talk? Fuzzpants coughs, then gurgles out something that lands next to me with a wet smack. I wince back, then hear in a gravelly voice, "You stink." My jaw hangs open for a few blinks before I recover and lift my arm to sniff suspiciously. I do not smell anything. Can a heart vessel actually stink in the first place? Why am I defending myself to a cat, no less? I throw my arm down. Fuzzpants leans her head toward me and sniffs a few times, then wrinkles her nose again. Heh, you stink up my home. I forgive, but why you attacked me? My mouth opens as wide as my eyes. I blink before shooting back. Sorry, but I'm fairly sure this is my home, and it was you who attacked us first. Because you stink. The other one stinks even worse than you. I do not allow it in my home. You feed me little, you can stay. The other one, you tell it to leave. You what? You almost killed Ilar because I smell bad? My voice is becoming more strangled. Ilar? You lie. Why would I? Can you call me a liar? What were you doing in the library? She stares at her claws with a distant look in her eyes, and I can remember. Oh please, now you feign ignorance? I scoff, but she keeps staring. You mean you really do not remember trying to grab me or chasing after me? Her eyes are lightless as she gives a slight shake of the head. What about injuring Ilar? They were torn nearly to pieces. Does not seem like the sort of thing one forgets doing. Her ears drop flat as she looks at me, brows pinched together. I am not well. Something in here is... She mimes a clutching and tearing motion with her claws. I half worried she'd hurt herself. No there. Huh. I cross my arms and tap my foot. When did this happen? Is there anything you do remember? Do the names Vyn or Ilar ring a bell? Fuzzpants tilts her head and blinks at me with her huge golden eyes. One of her ears flops down. Ilar, yes, my familiar. And the clumsy one, Vyn. Her face contorts into pain as she drops to all fours and gouges deep gashes into the tree again and again, sending splinters flying into the air. I raise an arm in front of my face by instinct, cold sweat dampening my forehead. A breath later, she lets out a heaving sigh and lies down, her eyes threatening to close. Hey, I snap my fingers, no sleeping. Please, I do not have much time. Tell me what you remember about Vyn, Ilar, and Bistvara, anything. She moans. Yes, those two served me, my familiar, and another. You look like clumsy one, but... She lowers her ears and says after sniffing me, you smell wrong. And so does the other one. If eyes and nose argue, I take side of nose. She lets out a monstrous yawn, blasting me with a musty, salty puff of breath. You're less wrong, and I hunger. Need offering, you bring. Be my new familiar. I protect you. Tell you what I know. You tell the other one to leave, or I show no mercy. She waves a claw as long as my finger, but the intended effect is ruined by the limpness of her arm. No doubt it looks more dangerous than her head. I pinch my nose. Still hungry? I thought I already... She rolls her eyes and states flatly. That was no offering. That was... Twirling a paw, she searches for the word. Nibbles. It not fill gap in teeth. I open my mouth to argue, but then think better of it. Stroking my chin, I start pacing. You talk much better now than before. She scrunches her claws, scrutinizes her claws. What has helped you be more human, is that it? She continues to avoid my gaze. I wonder how long it's been since you were fed. A while, I would wager. What would happen if I refuse? The look she shoots me makes the back of my neck tingle. She turns sideways and simply says, no offering, no talk. Oh, for the love of... At least tell me how I'm supposed to do that. There was a... Re-chew. Fuzzpants says doubtfully. A what? What chew? Re-chew. Fuzzpants repeats flatly. I mime a chewing motion. You cannot mean that Ilar chewed something and then fed it to you. Fuzzpants narrowed her eyes at me. You make fun. Open and close my mouth. I am not. What are the depth is a re-chew? I say the word out loud and it clicks. Re-chew? Ritual. Ritual. That must be it. I wave my arms. Maybe, she answers. White fur makes it. They come, signed, make light, give sweet taste I enjoyed, they begged me. Not hunt mice in there. She points her head at the spire. And I say yes, because they bring good offering. As she recalled this, she licks her lips, savouring something. Then her large eyes focus on me. She leans toward me, sniffing and purring. I become a little uncomfortable with the attention. What you did when I slept? Similar taste. She purrs more, but then leans back and lifts her chin. It's good enough. Now give. I raise a brow. Alright, not so hasty. How did, White Fur perform the ritual? I need some details. Details. I gesture at Fuzzpants with pinched fingers. She rolls her eyes. It's simple, you... She waves her hands around her head, searching for the words. You make... She squeezes her eyes shut and makes circular motions in front of her closed eyes. You see inside. Like a vision? She looks at me with the tiniest tilt of her head. I wave my hands in front of my closed eyes. A vision. Things you see that are not really, well, there. Magic. Yes, yes. See things others don't. Fuzzpants waves her paws as she curls up on the ground and begins snoring the instant her head rests on her paws. You cannot be serious, I mutter. No one falls asleep that fast. I do in the mornings. If you are Ilar's, if White Fur is your familiar, why did you attack them? I asked hopefully. Will you remember more things if I make this offering? Hello? Alright, Fuzzball, here's my proposal. I make an offering to you. You tell me everything you know about what happened here. Everything. Fuzzpants turns her head to me lazily. And I protect you from bad things, if you make good taste. I blink. Bad things? Oh, many. Underfloor, high on tower, many. You don't want to know. She yawns. I cross my arms and weigh my options. It would be nice to have an ally, especially one as agile as her, but at what cost? Ilar warned me not to make deals with anyone, and this smells dangerously like a deal. They may not be thrilled if I agree. If they find out about this, that is. Oh, please. You already failed their instruction at every step. Now you play at being prudent? I did not fail at every step. At least not for that long. Suppose I can pull a ritual out of my sleeves. I'm still on borrowed waters. What if I give away too much and... what if she tricks me? I glance around the garden. A rush of desperation hits me. I could run, climb up that tree, jump over the wall, and out... No, stop that. You have a decision to make. Screw it, let's bond with Fuzzpants. In for a penny, in for a pound, like they said before. Like, what's the worst that can happen? We die and then we have to go back to the last save point. Seems like it's either making friends with her or taking my chances alone. I look up at the impossibly tall stone structure, its tip disappearing between streams of clouds like a giant's tombstone. Who knows what currents the sea will bring in there? At least with Fuzzpants, some of the ripples are on the surface. I turn to the sleeping cat. She seems like the least terrible idea here. Come on then, I roll up my sleeve. Yeah man, better her than the abyss hole. She sits next to me and watches me with bright, expectant eyes. I kneel and reach out with my hands. She blinks a few times and then shuts her eyes. Letting out a sigh, I close my eyes and stroke her head. At first it feels silly. Magic can't be this simple, can it? Unless it's only simple to me on account of my innate talents. Don't get ahead of yourself. I take a deep, calming breath. I raise my hands to her head again. This time a warmth flows out to me right away and I realize how stiff I am. How exhaustion, fear and solitude have been my only companions all this time. I loosen my hands and arms, letting the warmth in, welcoming it. Fuzzpants' rapid heartbeat pulses in my palm and her head nudges me. I become warmer and warmer. My tense joints creak and relax. My sore muscles unwind. I let out a soft sigh and find myself smiling. Do I say a mantra? Do I sing? I start a non-committal my throat itches and fizzes out with a cough. You sing? Oh, you slay me, Vyn. I squeeze my eyes in concentration, trying to banish the chatter. A few sparks pop into the darkness within. Is this a vision? What can I do with it? I focus more and more intensely until my forehead is aching from exertion. Although more sparks light up, there's no meaning to them. Head aching, I will myself to relax. Instantly, an emptiness ripples out from the center of the sparks and forms a shape. It wobbles and jitters at first, but I pour my curiosity into it. It steadies and gains solidarity. Is it a mere image in my head? I try to will it into something else, a bird, a vase. It stays still, like it's just sitting in front of me, waiting and expecting. I don't believe it. It looks like Fuzzpants. What's that inside her? I glimpse little threads of light within her silhouette. They run through every part of her body, merging into star-like nodes, forming a network of flowing light. How could I have not seen it before? As I wonder this, streams of light come to life all around me, forming a field that waves in slow motion. The grass, the bushes, the trees, millions of luminescent tendrils gently sway. Their roots extend under where the ground would be, winding together into a trunk whose size defies rationality. I follow it down with my inner sight, my forehead expands, the distance between my eyes grows. This tree of light extends into a measureless depth, to the limits of my sight and beyond. When I look up, I let out a quiet chuckle as I see the tree. The grandmother tree in our garden is just a newborn twig on this immense tree of light. Then I notice the pulsing of the light and hear a joyful tone of divaronic harmony, rising and falling in rhythm. They're singing. The joy of their song is so simple and vibrant, like children playing. I cannot but grin and sway along to the song. A vibration springs up from my throat and from deep inside my body, linking up with the plant's chorus. I'm singing too. Another tone joins from somewhere nearby, a weak, raspy voice. Fuzzpants is curled up at my feet. There's a loose thread, dim and grey, dangling from the top of her head. The soundness drips into my heart at the sight of it. Somehow I know this pains her, and it pains me to know it. I reach for the thread. It sticks in my palm like a magnet to iron. The chorus of voices swell. My own vibration rises, and even Fuzzpants' weak humming is strengthening. As the voices reach a climax, Fuzzpants' strand merges into mine with a brilliant flash, and we're joined. I let out a long, languid sigh. I can't remember the last time I felt comfort like this. Maybe I can take just a small nap. I have earned it, haven't I? I think as I lie back, sinking into the gentle chorus and letting my inner eyes close. Do plants dream? Am I about to join their dream? I hope so. I hope I stay here forever. I gasp as something pushes the air from my lungs. I open my eyes to Fuzzpants with her paws on my chest. Satisfied that I'm awake, she stands back and stretches, twisting her body into several alarming postures. Fuzzpants? She bristles, clears her throat, and begins speaking with a voice so sultry and elegant that I almost laugh in surprise. That name has been a flea in my mane for a decade now. Ever since I began to understand human speech, they seem to have a talent for noticing. She pauses and taps a claw on her cheek. Obscurrent, that's the word. Obscurent and irrelevant things? You don't say. I raise an eyebrow. Her tone turns wistful, as if talking to herself. I do say. My fur is not more than normal. She shakes herself into a blur from head to toe and then says, and now that you're my familiar, I forbid you from speaking of our conversation from before. I was not myself. I narrow my eyes. What do you mean? I thought we had a deal. I feed you, you tell me about the tower. You're obviously feeling better, so let us get to the part where you give me answers. She looks at me, one ear flicking. I put my hand on my hip and glare. She rolls her huge eyes. Very well. What happened here recently? Here. She looks around the garden. I open my arms and gesture. This tower, this library, this place. Oh, I'll tell you. Disregarded. Derelict. I became very ill some weeks ago. Awoke in great pain, unable to think. Like in... Her expression grows intense. Unnerving eyes locked onto her extending claws for a while. I gulp, but she sheaths them and runs her padded fingers over some scars on the bark. White Fur abandoned me. They knew what would happen to me without our weekly ritual. They betrayed me, she snarls. Is that why you were at their throat? But why would they do that? I waited for White Fur to return. I gave them chances. Fuzzpants grimaces and sighs. I had to search for another familiar. I only remember bits and pieces of another human who was often in the library, the clumsy one. You wear their skin, but you don't have their smell, the stench of that place, and the unbearable shrieking. It was like claws in my nose and ears. She shivers and hugs herself. After a moment of silence, she bites at a long, hooked claw and mumbles, I will break its neck when I regain my full strength. I wear their skin? I rub my forehead. Why do you keep going back there if it's so horrible? She scoffs. Tuck tail and run at first sight of trouble? I must have a familiar and grow. It's my duty to my subjects. You won't understand. I blink in amazement. You're what? She raises her chin at me. Do you know nothing about a monarch's duty? I must think of my subjects. One day I'll free them and make our own nation. I feel my brows fly up. Subjects. Yes, in Daran, where I ruled, she explains like I'm a child. Right, what happened next? I take them to a land of abundance, free from stinky humans. Well, mostly free. We'll allow enough for offerings and... No, I mean, what happened here? Fuzzpants shrugs. Things. I may have encountered you. There was some scuffling when you came to your senses, and we're bonded. Now, are we finished? I have other things to do. What? Did we not stay together now? I thought I was your... I thought we were familiar now. The tip of Fuzzpants' tail whips up and down. We can be familiar at a distance. I have some remembering to do and punishments to deliver. I shake my head. How ungrateful. But maybe I can appeal to his selfishness. Your memories. Maybe I can help you restore it. You would like to remember, right? No. She's not even looking at me. But you agreed. I need you to understand. My heart is torn just like yours. I step toward her. The pain of Ilar's cut throbbing. Fuzzpants lifts her tail and holds her chin high. If you find yourself in danger, I shall aid you. That is my duty to you. But now you're in no danger, so stop fussing and leave me to my business. I grip my teeth, try not to curse. Fine. Go do your business. But at the very minimum, tell me how to find you if I need your help. Fuzzpants blinks at me. What? I say uncertain. Just call to me, or go through the way mirrors. How do you not know this? I thought you lived here. She puts a paw to her forehead. The way mirrors? She sighs. Yes. The ones that take you to other places, just go through them. She waves her paws. Something about the word way mirror makes my eyelids heavy. The sound of it, way, mirror, reverberates in my head. I close my eyes and dive into my heart. A series of images flash like the sun reflecting on ripples in the water. Hauntingly bright, images of mirrors, tall ones, oval ones, large as doors. They're in the library, in a hall, among giant flowers, in a chamber filled with mirrors. I gasp when my eyes sit on the mirror in front of me. The reflection is not of the roots. It's no reflection at all, but a place. My head goes numb with realization. Way mirrors. Doorways. Hearing crickets, I look up. Fuzzpants is gone. The cut on my wrist picks the worst time to act up and I squeeze it hard. A pain like being kicked by a mule takes the breath out of me, sapping all strength from me in a blink. My body feels as sluggish as a sack of grains. A warm, wet feeling creeps up from below. Water. My legs are disappearing beneath rising waves. I try to run, but I can't feel them anymore. The waves continue to rise and claim my hips, then my stomach, then my chest. Before I can even get a cough out, my head is underwater and I'm sinking. I can't breathe. Violent currents toss and turn me like a leaf. Swirls of nauseating colours churn, twists into loops and bubble around me like I'm carried away at a terrible speed. There's a sense of dreadful familiarity about it all, like coming face to face with a snake that has bitten me before. The heat is mounting and a greasy feeling steps into the swirls into me, making me feel slimy all over. It reaches scalding intensity and the colours bloom into incandescence. My skin sizzles and I open my mouth to scream. Well, that seems like the perfect time to wrap this episode up because we're out of time for today and we've just made a deal with the potential devil. Could it be a good thing? Sure. Could it be a bad thing? Absolutely. But Ilar has certainly not made himself seem trustworthy by being a total wanker all the time. So, you know, the lesser of two evils and all that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.